Hello again, everyone. This is Gil Cloud, Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, and welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics. We have an interesting show today. We're going to tell you some things that you don't normally get to hear about behind the scenes. Come back with us. Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics. We have a special guest today, Neal from Modus. She's going to talk about that program as well as the TPS rides. Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Thanks, Gil. Thank you for having us.
Tell us a little bit about Modus and the video that we're going to watch here.
Sure. So Modus is a pretty young nonprofit, but our mission is to eliminate transportation barriers for young people in Tulsa. We do that through two different programs. One is Modus and the other is Modus Ed. So Modus is our transportation service company that uses staff drivers and volunteer drivers to help young people get to medical and social service appointments in Tulsa. But what we're really here to talk about is Modus Ed, which is our educational component that ensures that all Tulsa teens have the knowledge to use the existing transit options like Tulsa Transit to get to school or their part-time jobs or wherever they need to go around the city. So the video that we're going to be watching is actually is kind of a how-to on how to get around the city using the Tulsa Transit.
Excellent. Well, let's go to that video now and see what it says.
Hi guys, I'm Abby.
And I'm Brian.
Did you know that thousands of Tulsans ride the bus with Tulsa Transit every week?
And riding the bus is easy and enjoyable.
Tulsa Transit offers one of the newest fleets in the country. All their buses are safe, clean, and comfortable.
Every Tulsa Transit bus is ADA compliant and allows for easy on and off access.
Want to bike and ride around town? They've got that covered too. All the buses have bike racks. Loading and unloading your bike is easy, so bring your bike and save time.
Tulsans of all ages ride the bus around town every day.
And thanks to a program called TPS Rides, created just for us by Tulsa Transit, more TPS high school students are riding the bus than ever before.
And with the help of Modus and their Modus Ed Transit Training Program, the word is getting out about the TPS Rides program and how it offers free bus rides to all TPS high school students in grades 9 through 12.
And all you have to do is show your student ID.
It really is easy. Simply get on the bus, show the driver your student ID, have a seat, and enjoy the ride.
Planning your trip is easy.
Just use the trip planner on Tulsa Transit's website or download the Google Maps app from Google Play or the App Store to your phone. Enter your starting location and destination, select the bus icon, and choose the route you want.
And if you want to see where a bus is on the route, you can visit their website or get the Bus Tracker app from Google Play or the App Store. All the buses use GPS for easy tracking. Simply select the route you want and you'll see the current locations of all the buses on that route.
You can also get a text alert with the bus's arrival time for the nearest stop. Just text Tulsa, space, and then your bus stop number to 41411, and the automated system will send a text with your bus's arrival time. And if you need help finding a stop number, you can use the bus tracker, or stop numbers are located on the back of bus signs at each stop. With all this help, it really is easier than ever to plan a trip. TPS Rides is available Monday through Friday on days when school is in session. If you need to ride when school's out or on weekends, discounted passes are available. They even offer a nightline service free to students Monday through Friday when school is in session, giving you more flexibility to decide when and where you want to go.
So if you need to get to school, work, or an appointment, no problem. You can even go to the movies, do some shopping, or visit some of the popular places around town. It's up to you.
You can find a list of popular places in town on the Tulsa Transit website or search the web for your own places to go.
So grab some friends and give it a try.
And when you do, use the hashtag TPS Rides on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So go have some fun. We'll see you around.
What a tremendous service for our students. Isn't that great?
Absolutely. And I don't know if you noticed in the very last frame, but the video was actually created by the same folks here at Webster.
Absolutely.
So didn't they do a great job?
They do a wonderful job
Yeah.
in producing this show and all the other things that they do, like the commercial and so on. So let's talk a little bit about that. I know how it affects us. It's really great for our student athletes because we do have activity buses that go after practice, but sometimes practice goes a little bit longer. And so they have the opportunity to get on that bus with their student ID. Early season, sometimes before school gets started, we have worked out a deal where August practice starts, before the first day of school, and the student don't have any way to get to campus for practice. They can ride the bus, and so it's been really a great thing, I think, for our student athletes. But let's talk a little bit about the Modus program.
Sure. If you wouldn't mind, before we switch over,
Okay.
I want to make sure that your student athletes do know the update about the summer rides.
Right.
So since TPS Rides is available only on days when school is in session, there is a discounted youth pass for students. So it's for $5, it's a 10-ride pass. And if you have a student ID, you just need to take that ID and take it to the Denver Avenue station and purchase that summer youth pass. It's going to be available from May 21st to August 15th. So that's for $5. It's 10 rides, only for TPS students.
And that's really good because we have fall practice can officially start for all sports with the exception of football on July 15. So that works out
Sure,
very
I think
well.
it's really going to help out your
Works out
student
well. You bet.
athletes. And there's a new app that just came out in the beginning of this month too, and it's called Spot, and it's the new bus tracking app. So people don't need to be waiting at the bus stops for a long time, or
Right.
if they're not sure when the bus is going to be arriving. Now they can just pull up the app that's available on Google Play or the Apple
Excellent.
Store, and they can see those the buses in their real time.
And you wanted to talk about education?
Oh, the Modus Ed was the Tulsa Transit
Okay.
education. Yeah,
That's good.
absolutely.
Okay, well, let's talk about Tulsa Rides then.
Yes.
Or anything you want to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that everyone had the updates whenever, since this month that will no longer be able to ride the bus for free after school gets out. I wanted to make sure everyone knew the newest updates, and then
Sure.
yeah, and then that's definitely wanted to get that off to check that part.
And we've got a meeting here before long, I think, with Tulsa Rides. And we do. And I think we'll be able to I think, plead our case a little bit for our student athletes. And,
Yeah, to show the impact that it's really making. And
Absolutely.
like Calvin said, over 89,000, or there were 89,000 rides
Rides,
for
yeah.
TPS students rode on the bus.
That's absolutely incredible.
That's
when
huge,
it gets to
yeah.
that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, I really appreciate you being here today
Yeah.
and giving us this education. And when we come back, we're going to have Calvin Dollar. We'll talk about the Tulsa Transportation Department and what we do with athletics. It's really an unbelievable thing with over 3,000 trips that they make every year. So join us in just a minute.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to tulsarefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. tulsarefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy, and every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. We follow up from Leslie Neal's piece on Tulsa Rides to a person who does a lot of work for us in TPS transportation, Calvin Dollar. Calvin, welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I tell you what, Calvin, you guys have a huge job on a daily basis. And one of the things that kind of takes a little bit away from that is our Tulsa Rides program. Can you explain that a little bit more in depth than we did with Leslie?
Well, we have approximately 160 routes to run, and then we have over 3,000 field trips we do every year, Coach. So that keeps us quite busy. And with our driver pool and our buses, it is just greatly helpful for students to have the option to ride on Tulsa Rides, TPS Rides, Tulsa Transit, because sometimes students may miss their bus in the morning, and then they can catch a ride with Tulsa Transit, and that means they got to school that day instead of missing a day of school. Or in the evening when they have activities, maybe athletic activities or other activities, and they miss the activities bus route because they were running late in their activity, then they can catch a bus with Tulsa Transit. And that's greatly helpful. We've had as many as 89,000 plus rides in one school year with TPS Rides Tulsa Transit. And so it's really impacting the lives of students is what it's about. It not only helps them with their education, which is very important, of course, but it really helps them in their lives because that's their future. In fact, we have 2 students this year who would probably, almost definitely, not be graduating if it were not for TPS Rides.
That's fantastic. I know athletically we utilize that a lot when we start practice in August and school's not in session yet.
Right.
We don't have the activity buses running and everything. Those student athletes can get to campus and so on. And like you said, sometimes practice or the student athlete will get back later than the activity bus. And that way they have an opportunity to get back home. And it makes a lot of difference, I think, for that service that we do for our students. I think it's very, very important.
It does. And another benefit is the students can also ride Tulsa Transit to go to work and to meet other obligations. And that, again, benefits the lives of the students. It gives them that world experience that they really need to be ready to launch out into life on their own.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and we try on this show. We tried to educate some people inside Tulsa Athletics. Some of the things that it's not just having the games and everybody shows up.
Right.
Go through how a coach or an athletic director or a principal or anybody schedules a trip with transportation.
Well, either the athletics director at the school or sometimes the principal secretary at the school will submit a request for transportation on a system that's used on the computer, and we receive that at our offices, and then we evaluate that to make sure we have the buses and the staffing, the drivers and so forth necessary to take care of that trip. And there's just a process of looking and making sure that everything's in order where we approve it, we approve the trip, and then we schedule it with a bus and a driver. And of course there's communication back with the AD and with the school and with the coaches many times in regard to their transportation has been assured and has been scheduled.
And of course, because we have a limited number of buses, there are some situations that develop when we have to take a team, the driver comes back, runs the route, and then goes back to pick up the team.
Yes, that happens, as well as the fact that we have some of our specialized drivers called OR drivers. They also will do double duty. In other words, they may be doing 2 field trips a day. I have seen on rare occasion some even do 3 field trips in one day. And so there are a lot of creative things we have to do to make all of the field trips possible.
It is, it's a huge job when you stop and think about the 39,000 students that go to school every day, and then the 3,000 trips that are involved with that. And of course, one of the issues I know that we cause for transportation is the timing. When we have to get where we have to get, happens to be in the prime time in the evening for pickup and delivery of students, and that makes it a little more difficult.
Yes, it does. And it just is what it is sometimes, Coach. You know, it's a challenging thing, and we have to be as creative as possible. And your coaches many times are very, very cooperative with us and fudging on their time a little bit, budging it a little bit, you know, so that we can transport all the students to where they need to go.
And it's difficult, you know, because it's we have so many other factors, loss of class time.
Yes.
You know, if we say, can you get out at 1 o'clock when the game's at 5? Well, that's tough, you know, because every minute or 1 minute, if we miss, say, sixth hour by 1 minute, that counts as a full day. And we only have 10 days that we can miss for activities. And you know, every school has an attendance review committee, and they can waive up to 5 days if they're for bona fide activities. We don't have to count any OSSA. Those don't count because those are culminating championships. So we don't count those. So if you get a student that's involved with student council or any other thing, and now they couple all those together, they're going to be right at 10. And about this time of the year, we have to really look, you know, who's eligible for state meets and so on and so forth, because they're pushing up against that 10-day rule. But we really appreciate what you and Steve and the crew out there do for us. It's transportation is a no-win situation. You know, it's a yay boo. You're either really happy or you're really not happy. And but we do appreciate that, and we appreciate you being here today. And when we come back, we're going to have Jay Oates, who is the person that we deal with in the physical plant. Outstanding. They do a great job of making our facilities ready for all the events that we have, and he's going to talk about how that happens. We'll be right back after these messages.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to tulsarefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. tulsarefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Hi, I'm Tony Dillingham, Athletic Director for Jenks Public Schools. The first annual Oklahoma Athletic Directors Conference is the must-attend event for every Oklahoma high school athletic director. Join us June 10th and 11th at the Cox Convention Center in downtown Oklahoma City. The two-day conference will feature breakout sessions covering law, staff development, fundraising, social media, and many other areas that are sure to improve your effectiveness as a key administrator in your district. The OADC will also be a great place to network with key people in our industry regarding the latest issues and trends in Oklahoma athletics. Conference registration is now open, so visit OklahomaOIAAA.com for conference registration, hotel information, and details about the conference. Don't wait. Make your reservation today.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to tulsarefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. tulsarefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and we go from transportation to physical plant. And our good friend, Jay Oates. And Jay, you guys have a huge job.
Yes.
How many locations do we have in Tulsa? Buildings?
Well, we have probably right around 103 or so sites. We have quite a few vacant lots that we take care of here in Tulsa. And so Yeah, we have a great challenge.
It is a great challenge, and of course, we give you a challenge every now and then with athletics, don't we?
Yes, sir. Yes.
We have these facilities, and it's really interesting that the preparedness that you do have, you know, when we have playoff games, because sometimes we don't know 5 days in advance.
That's right.
If you win this match, then you go to this next match, and things have to happen pretty quickly. But it seems like that you and the staff, Sue Ann and everybody, just meets the challenge every time, and we really, really appreciate that. But let's talk about all the things that you do with facilities, and then we'll talk about the athletic part toward the end. But what all services do you provide out of the physical plant?
Well, we as you know, we have a maintenance, you know, which is kind of under the umbrella, you know, and they cover everything from electrical, plumbing, I mean, just anything to, you know, to make sure that the schools are taken care of and the students are, you know, are comfortable so that they can learn. You know, then we have plant operations, which, you know, they do a great job in preparing our facilities and keeping them clean, and, you know, they're really nice, and so they take care of, you know, the stripping, waxing, carpet. You know, they take care of the schools on a daily basis, making sure that the trash is emptied and things of that nature. And then you have grounds, which is up under facilities as well, and they take care of mostly the outside of the buildings, and that's the mowing, and you know, we do some tree work, and playgrounds. We make sure the playgrounds are safe for the children, and then you know, the grounds don't just stay within the schools. You know, we take care of the high schools as well, you know, and making sure we have a stadium guy that's stationed at the high schools, and they take care of the mowing and edging and things of that nature, you know, just so we can make sure that, you know, that our students are, you know, that the schools look good for our students and all of our visitors that come.
You know, one of the things we always try to emphasize, and you guys have done a great job of helping us host the state tournaments in basketball and football and all those things. And what I tell our staff when we meet is that we only have one shot at a first impression.
You're right.
You know,
You're
if people
so
walk
right.
through that door, walk through that stadium gate, that might be the only time they come to Tulsa.
Yes, sir.
And look at Tulsa Public Schools, and we want them to have a great experience.
Yes.
In a clean facility that really epitomizes what we think about our kids and their kids.
Yes.
In the participation of the games. So, you know, we're doing some work through the athletic department this year on some of our gym floors, and we were setting up a meeting with physical plant because of the kind of base that we're putting down in these new, well, they're not new floors. We're just sanding them down where they look good.
Yes, sir.
They look really good.
Right.
And but that cooperative agreements that we work together on, I think, is really important. And I think it's important that we try to provide the best facilities we can for our student athletes.
You're right.
And the students to come into those facilities. Let's talk about the fall season. You're really busy in the fall because of the 5 stadiums that we have, getting ready to be 6 here in another year.
Yes, sir.
And
You're right.
then we have softball and volleyball and everything else. So let's talk a little bit about what you do in the fall.
Well, I'll tell you, in the fall, we just you know, we just prepare, and you know, we want to make sure that all of our stadiums are looking well. We take a tour. We go through all of our locker rooms. We go through all our restrooms, and we make sure that all of our dispensers are working properly. You know, because that'd be bad to go in and, you know, wash your hands, or even you know, and nothing is working. So we check all that stuff out and make sure that you know, that they're in working order. You know, for our, you know, guests, because they're gonna come. And then, you know, we make sure that, you know, they're clean, and we, you know, and all during the winter months, we do a lot of training. We train with our guys, you know, to make sure that they, you know, that we seeing the same thing, you know, when we walk in those facilities, you know. And so we go in and check locker rooms. You know, we make sure we have, you know, all our dollar downs, all that stuff is ready, you know, to go, so that, you know, when our football seasons get ready to start, you know, and we check, you know, to make sure, you know, we don't have no issues with our turf, you know, and And so, you know, and we power wash, you know, a lot of areas, you know, especially around our concessions, you know, because, you know, the people waste a lot of things there. And so we power wash, just make sure everything, you know, has a good curb appeal there, you know, when people come. And as you said, you know, so, you know, they'll think, you know, well of Tulsa Public Schools.
Well, I tell you what, it is a big job, and you know, when we get ready for the fall season, and like I say, with the 5 stadiums, and those are, and I tell you what, the stadium managers are invaluable to our office.
Yes, sir.
You know, when we get there on game night, and we try to cover as many games as we can
Right.
out of our office. Of course, the local administration, whoever the home team is right there with them. But it's always good to know we can call on somebody to help here or there if something goes wrong.
That's right.
So, and those guys are there, and I think all the ones that I've dealt with want to be there. They're excited about it, and they become a part of that school and that stadium and everything. And in the wintertime, of course, we got all the gymnasiums, and we're getting ready to add another gymnasium here just pretty quickly at McLain. And so that's a whole other issue, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. And you know, our plant operations manager and our maintenance manager, Brenda Royal and Jason Cohn, they play a major part, you know, in making sure that the inside, those field houses are looking good. We know sometimes we get, you know, calls on the same day, you know, that we have a game at 5 and, you know, and something's going on, and they, you know, they have to really get on the ball and make sure that's done. Absolutely. You know, and I'll tell you, man, they do a good job. And then, you know, Brenda Royal, she has an awesome team, as well as Jason, you know, and they just, you know, they really focus on making sure that the facilities are clean, and that, you know, because, you know, you'd be surprised, a couple of lights out make a difference.
Oh man, let me tell you, that dark spot, you
Yes,
won't be able
sir.
to shoot, might
Yes.
miss that 3.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss that 3.
They be
you know.
calling us, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys do a great job, and of course it carries over. It's same song, second verse in the spring, because the stadiums are back open for soccer and everything, and
That's
track
right.
and so on. So, well, it's sure is good to have you here, Jay. I'm glad you came today,
Well,
and
I'm
we
glad to
thank
be
you for
here.
everything you do. And join us when we come back, because we're going to have Phillip Johnson, the Director of Athletics at McLain High School, to talk about his new gymnasium.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now our special guest is Phillip Johnson, the Director of Athletics at McLain High School. And boy, this is an exciting time at McLain High School with the new field house.
Yes, it is. We're excited about having a new place to play. We've had to practice in one gym, 5 teams, 2 junior high school teams, and junior varsity and varsity. So now we have more room. We should be able to stretch out a little bit.
Well, you have the main gym, and then you have the practice gym in the new facility.
Right.
And then you have the gym in the building.
So now we have 3 gyms.
Yeah.
We had 2, but they closed it down and made a special cafeteria out of it. Fancy cafeteria, I guess.
There you go, fancy. Well,
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. I'm excited to see it when it opens, because what we learned from the first 3 that we built, we made some nuances in this one the chairbacks on both sides, those kinds of things that we learn from building the other facilities. But wrestling rooms, you have dressing rooms. What a great facility. Will your office be in there?
Yeah, I'm going to have an office in there, and they're going to have maybe 4 or 5 spots for other coaches. The wrestling room is going to be available for wrestlers. They're going to have a locker room for the wrestlers. And then, of course, we're going to have 4 extra locker rooms, supposed to be for varsity girls, varsity boys, junior varsity, or whatever. But, game situations, we'll be able to put the visiting teams in those areas.
And tournaments.
And tournaments.
That's always a critical thing, I think, Phillip, when you host a tournament, where it's an OSSA or an invitational, to have enough dressing rooms to accommodate all the teams that come in.
Yeah, you'll be able to rotate both girls and boys, or if there are 4, guy teams, you can rotate those guys in there. Yeah, that's going to be great.
It's going to be wonderful, I think, to be able to have that facility. And boy, it's an ominous building when you come down Peoria, isn't it?
Yeah, once you hit 46th Street, we're on 49th Street. Once you hit 46th Street, you can see it standing in the skyline.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
That's going to be nice once they put the monikering up and finish the rest of the things on it.
Well, thanks to Luther Pegues, but I know you're at 4929.
Everybody knows our address. Our students know it.
There's no question about that.
The students know
That's
our
great.
address.
Well, when you build a new facility like that, it obviously has to do something for your student athletes and the faculty and staff. Have you seen a change in how they look at coming to school every day?
Well, they're getting excited about getting in there next year. Our seniors who are leaving, they're very disappointed. Oh, we thought that we would be able to get in there. And I thought that they were going to, get us in there in January, but, we still have some ways to go.
Well, the weather has always been such a factor with that. And of course, the one big thing a lot of people don't know about was the gas line.
Oh, yeah.
That came catty-corner across the parking lot, and then we got into a discussion on who was going to pay for that to make it go around. We couldn't build the building over it.
Well, I think they had to situate the building where, it would run probably 20 or 30 feet behind that building.
Right.
So people ask, why is the building here? Why is it right there? Well, it's a gas line about 20 feet. You don't want to start digging in that area.
And we certainly wanted to put it out there on Peoria where everybody could see it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We have a beautiful gymnasium at Edison. Nobody
Where
can
is
see.
it?
Yeah, nobody can see
Yeah.
it. So we wanted to make sure that it was out there on the street. So you look at your athletic program and you have a new football coach 1 year, a new basketball coach 1 year. How do you feel about where you are right now?
Well, I think we got the right people in the right place. Ponder's doing a good job working with the football program. They're learning a little bit more of the nuances that he's bringing. He's trying to put together some, we've always had some issues with some linemen. So he's trying to put together some linemen. We got some big boys walking around there for the first time and as long as I can remember. Now we'll probably end up having problems with skill positions,
It's always something.
It's always going to be something. And then, Randy, he struggled a little bit. Well, I'm not going to say he struggled because with what he had, we were talking about 5 basically new guys. We had 2 seniors, and 2 of those seniors were playing for the first time in varsity competition. And then he played with a sophomore and another freshman, and won about 6 or 7 games and, a couple of games in the playoffs. But I can see him turning the corner now. The guys are buying in. At first we had some difficult times with all the players trying to buy into the program, but the ones that are there now are buying in, and I look forward to big things from him.
Excellent.
Yeah.
One of the big things that involves McLain is the change in the grade format. You're now going to have just 9 through 12 on that campus, and your feeder becomes Monroe. How do you feel like that's going to work for you?
Well, I think if we get the coaches at Monroe on the same page with us, and we continue to go down and work with those 8th graders and 7th graders down there, that it's going to be a good deal. I think that once we get that established, then we're going to turn some corners.
I think the administration there, Rex Langley and Rob Kaiser, are really, really looking forward to having a cooperative agreement. They've told me that they would like to have the varsity coaches come down and help them select their coaching staff.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that the head coaches would like to have somebody that's going to be, complimentary to them, making sure that they're doing the same types of things, the same terminology. And,
absolutely.
When those coaches in the junior high school level are saying certain things, when they get to the next level, they'll know, okay, that's what he means, or, we're running the same type of plays or whatever.
That was the biggest thing, that I always, when I was a head coach in high school, I didn't care what offense you ran as long as our terminology was the same. Because your offense and defense kind of is geared to the kind of talent you have.
Right.
If you've got a throwing quarterback, you probably don't want to run the wishbone.
You're not going to run the wishbone, right?
But the terminology is quintessential from that kid comes into the varsity program or the freshman program. That if we're going to do Oklahoma drill, everybody knows what Oklahoma drill is.
Oklahoma drill is.
I think that's really, really important, and that's a great opportunity. Well, I'm certainly excited about the grand opening. I can't wait to get that facility done. It seems like it's been forever.
It seems like it has been. But we're patiently waiting.
Yeah, we got that one, and then as soon as we finish that one, we're going to start the one at East Central.
Okay.
And then the stadium at Rogers. And so we still have some building things to do, but this is really going to be a special one there on North Peoria, and we're excited about that. We will look at, hopefully at some point in time, having tournaments and that type of thing there.
Looking forward to that. Yeah.
Excellent.
High school tournaments, maybe even AAU tournaments for fundraising and
You
things
bet.
like that.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you for coming today, Phillip. It's always great to have you on the show. And when we come back, we'll have Mick Wilson, Assistant Athletic Director, and talk about our golf tournament.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy, and every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just gotta try a little harder.
1 in 5 children struggle with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. We have Mick Wilson, Assistant Director of Athletics for the district. And Mick, we got the big golf tournament coming in June 7th. And boy, it seemed like the 21 years we've had this.
21 years, and it's been an interesting 21 years,
Yes,
I will
it
say.
has.
But it's a great event. We're excited about everyone coming back, the alumni, and many of our corporate sponsors and people in town that really enjoy supporting our athletic endeavors in Tulsa Public Schools to come out and help us. So it's going to be a great day of golf. And of course, the big question is, Gil, though, is are you going to play this year?
You know, that is still under advisement, but it could happen.
You know, I've always been reluctant to play because about the time you get out there and tee it up, you're going to get a phone call and there's going to be a problem back in the clubhouse, and then it's,
well, you
then it's
know,
off
a year
you go.
ago we were trying to hire a basketball coach at Washington. 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, you know, and that took a little bit of time that day, but it's always great to see the folks that have supported our program over the years. We have a lot of returners every year playing the tournament, and so this year, you know, we'll be back at La Fortune. Pat McCrade and his crew do such a great job for us. Tell everybody how they can get signed up through registration.
Well, something new this year that we've gone to is online registration, and everything's going to be handled by, speaking of Pat, his crew at La Fortune Park Golf Course. You can go to their website and register there, or you can stop in, you can call. There's several different options there. You can also sign up for any sponsorships through the website and online, and also there in person as well. So we're trying to make it easier for our patrons and our customers to be able to reach out to us without having to mail a check and jump through a lot of the paperwork. We're trying to take that away and do things and upgrade our technology, so to speak, to be able to accommodate our people. And I think it's going to work really well. They seem to be really excited, and it's really a lot of the way now that they're doing golf tournaments with online registration. So just visit the La Fortune Park Golf website, be able to direct you there with the links and the paperwork or anything that you need to do. If some people aren't, if they're not technological savvy, then they can print that off and bring that in as well. So we have opportunities to be able to do that. And I think, of course, Lisa, our administrative assistant, is going to love life, not have to handle so much money in credit cards and things like that, to be able to process those. So that's probably the easiest way. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call us at the athletic office at 918-746-6453, and we can also pass along information that way. But Gil, I think it'll be another great day of golf. We need the weather to cooperate. You know, we've had some years where the weather hasn't cooperated, but we seem to make it through. But I think it'll be another great day of golf.
How much does it cost?
Well, we're looking at $100 a golfer, or $375 a team. The whole sponsorships are $100. We try to keep it very affordable. You know, it's real easy to be able to play and not cost you a lot of money. On top of that, we try to provide a good quality product. In the past, we've given a lot of nice golf polos and t-shirts, never t-shirts, but golf polos and pullovers and some things like that. This year, we've got, with our BSN sponsorship and Nike, we're going to provide nice golf hats this year for all the participants, and send you away with a goodie bag of snacks and some other trinkets and things like that, so that everyone goes away feeling pretty good with a good value for what they were able to purchase.
A good Nike hat, which is
absolutely
a big deal. The overall aspect of the golf tournament, we want to ensure that everybody knows that those funds go back into the school system. We use it year long on all of our teams, all of our schools. The 20 schools that we had this past year now is reduced to 19 because we have one middle school that's not there. And we try to spend as much money as we can on and help those schools, because all of our schools basically operate on gate receipts.
That's correct. And you know, we really try to fund a lot of our junior high programs with some of our fundraisers, such as the Tournament Champions, the golf tournament, the run, some things like that. We really try to put those dollars back into, because our junior highs seem to have the toughest time generating the revenue. And you know, whether it's helmet reconditioning or uniform orders, those are things that are big item costs for junior highs, and we try to take that load off them by being able to handle some of that.
Yeah, and of course there's things that we have to do, you know, for the health and safety of our kids. The helmet reconditioning every year is critical, and it costs about $18,000 to do that. And so it's one of those things that we got into. But well, one of the sports that you supervise is soccer, and we still have 2 teams left.
We do. It's been a productive week. It's been another great late run here in the season with our teams. We had some teams this year that surprised some people, such as right here at Webster. The boys really made a good run and had a nice team. Of course, East Central boys, once again, are developing quite a rivalry with Bishop Kelly, and we didn't come out on top on that one again, but no slight to Coach Witham and the East Central boys soccer team. They did a fantastic job.
2-1 and double overtime.
Yeah, you just can't,
my goodness,
you can't complain. They were right there, and they've been right there for 4 or 5 years running now, and he does such a great job, and those kids have a lot of pride in their tradition over there. So, but we're really excited to see what the Booker T. Washington Hornets, both boys and girls, are going to do. Both tough matchups this week, both going to the west side of the state. So we'll find out just what they're made of and whether they can bring some wins back to the east side.
Well, our girls will be playing Bishop McGinnis at Bishop McGinnis at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, which will be the day before. We'll be on the day after that. And then the boys play at Northwest Classen at 8 o'clock. And we'll have those results for you and on our website and everything. But it's been a really interesting soccer season. Like you said, the emergence of Webster, and I think you know, Rogers is getting ready to really explode their program with their younger kids. And of course, Edison was right down to the quarterfinals.
Always solid.
You know, it got to be by one goal. So I'm excited about our spring sports and everything. I think we look back and we can quickly look into the basketball, you know, what a great year we had in basketball this year.
Fantastic.
What do you think about next year?
Well, I think that, you know, people probably are thinking that Memorial's going to come back down to earth, and they may a little, but their tradition is just unparalleled. I mean, they'll be solid again. And, of course, Booker T will probably be the preseason #1, again, with Shrey and Bryce both returning. You've got two really, really good guards. You know, the big kid, athletic, will be coming back. But top to bottom, I think here at Webster, their boys are going to be as solid as anyone in the state. And just top to bottom, I think our girls basketball has really been my big push, or my kind of area of influence recently. Is I want our girls basketball to get better, and I think our coaches are trying to do that. We need to work a little harder. We need to spend some more time in the summer. We need to get in the weight room. We need to do those things. But as we continue to push, our coaches have been real responsive in trying to do that, and I think our girls basketball is going to get better. So I'm excited to see where that's going to be next year, especially with the recent addition of James Asbury at Memorial High School with the girls.
I was going to say, we have some coaches in place.
We do.
I think that this, our women's girls program is really, really going to manifest itself over the next couple of 3 years, because the young players coming in our junior high tournament every year is really, really good.
It is.
And very exciting for end. Well, thanks for coming today. Tell us about the golf tournament. Remember, June 7th, you can call the Fortune Golf Course and get all the information, or you can call our office. When we come back after these messages, I'll have a good friend of ours, a good friend of high school athletics for many, many years, Chris Lincoln.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Hi, I'm Tony Dillingham, Athletic Director for Jenks Public Schools. The first annual Oklahoma Athletic Directors Conference is the must-attend event for every Oklahoma high school athletic director. Join us June 10th and 11th at the Cox Convention Center in downtown Oklahoma City. The two-day conference will feature breakout sessions covering law, staff development, fundraising, social media, and many other areas that are sure to improve your effectiveness as a key administrator in your district. The OADC will also be a great place to network with key people in our industry regarding the latest issues and trends in Oklahoma athletics. Conference registration is now open, so visit OiAAA.com for conference registration, hotel information, and details about the conference. Don't wait. Make your reservation today.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and we have a special guest today, a good friend of mine for a long time.
That's right.
Geez, since the early 70s.
Yeah.
But Chris was at Channel 8 then, and
Right.
I was at Union, and we couldn't get away from each other. We're still together.
And good to be on your show now, Coach.
Well, yeah. It's
Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Inside Tulsa Athletics is a great show for our student athletes and our
Absolutely,
coaches
yeah.
to tell about all the good things that are going on in Tulsa Public Schools.
And I love the fact you were able to let the boys in Oklahoma City know that, oh, they don't have a show like this, do they?
I ask normally every time we're over there.
Yeah.
Now, when's your show on?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
see?
They don't have one.
Great support for Tulsa Athletics.
But they can see ours over there
That's
because
good, that's
Cox
right.
displays it
Sure.
in the Oklahoma City area as well.
Fantastic. That's great.
Well, Chris, it's been a long and an interesting year in high school athletics this year.
It really has, Gil. And go back to, of course, great football tradition in this part of the state. We just so dominate the state when it comes to 6A football. Really cover basketball very well, and of course, to see our Tulsa schools doing so well. And that was interesting to me how that tournament of champions you guys always do a great job of, truly was the preview of the state basketball.
Had 4 teams that won state championships that were in that tournament. Unbelievable. And of course, we were really proud of Memorial and Booker T.
Yeah.
To win the 5 and 6A, we dominated the top 2 classes with boys basketball.
Boy, and they're so dominant. The program they put together at both Booker T. Washington and Memorial High School, and great job both those coaching staffs have done out there and stuff, and they get great support from their kids, and they're really, really class programs.
You know, they are class, and it's as we get into the summer, you know, that's one of the things that people don't realize is that you make championships in the off season.
Yeah.
You just happen to play the games during the year, but it's that off season. Of course, state track meet is this weekend.
Yeah.
That kind of is the combination. The state tennis meet is today. as we're taping on Monday. And everything will be finished on Saturday night. And then we have spring practice that starts on Monday. And, of course, that'll be important, for our 9 schools that have an opportunity to get their kids out there and start playing again.
You know, you think of the spring championships, Coach, they do a great job with that. All the Tulsa public schools do, and the kind of kids I'm following in the papers, especially the coverage we get with our tennis, our golf, our baseball and stuff. Great programs all the way around, but then the fact that it all ends, it's over, and then, oh, here comes football again.
Yeah.
And just never stops. And I also appreciate that we try to get our athletes involved in more than one sport, Coach. It's not easy anymore. You and I remember playing days. You start football in August, you put the gear away in November, you move on to basketball, wrestling or something. And now to be really in a sport, it's almost required you're year-round in that one sport.
You know, it's really interesting, too. We have one of our high schools, Will Rogers, has a 2-sport requirement. If you want to be in 7th-hour athletics, you have to play 2 sports. And their numbers in participation have gone way up in all their programs because they have those kids in 2 sports. And all of a sudden, a youngster realizes something that they may not have known had they not had the opportunity to be in that sport. So, I would wish that we could do that with our junior high programs, but we're limited with coaching staff and everything to be able to do that. But the young kids need to have that experience, in other things other than just the specialized. There's so much out there, and you see so many of the professional athletes that talk about play a lot of different sports.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
One of the things we've talked about, and I think we'll be working toward instituting, is powerlifting. Powerlifting is an extension of the football off-season program, or anybody that can be in it. But the competition that's involved in that, you got to have weigh-ins. You can't weigh over a certain amount, and they have that weigh class for each one of those 3 lifts that they do. That keeps those kids competitive even in the off-season.
I know you're also considering a TPS, right? Girls competitive high school wrestling.
Well, at some point in time we will, because the State Activity Association is getting ready. This year they will have exhibition matches at the state tournament. Next year, 21, the spring of 21, they'll have state championships in girls wrestling. Yes.
I've always appreciated you've been a real advocate for Title IX, giving the young women a chance and stuff. We've seen that carry on in the college athletics as well, but just as important in the high schools too.
The best thing that ever happened to me, my firstborn, was a female.
Yes.
I told the guys, I can remember very vividly in 1977, the spring of 1977, meeting with some of the Tulsa athletic directors, and they did not have girls athletics in Tulsa in 77. We had it at Union because Union had grown up from a little tiny school where all the small schools in Oklahoma played girls athletics. And our old athletic director, former athletic director, Tom Hurst, when my wife and I went to Will Rogers, in fact, my wife was his student aide, we're sitting in this room, and they're kind of bemoaning that we're going to have to add all these programs and everything. And Tom says, he's an East Texas boy. He says, boys, it ain't a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
When, that's for sure.
And, Tulsa got involved with the girls' athletics. And what a great opportunity. It opened the doors. My daughter was able to play and go to college on a softball scholarship. And, I think we have those opportunities now for our female student athletes, just equal in our district to the male athletes.
How many sports? Or the same sports?
We have 18 sports that we sponsor, and all the comparable sports.
Right, sure.
The only sport that there's no
obviously football
comparable is for football, but everything else is out there, and we want to make sure. Now, one of the sports that we're getting ready to really get involved in is e-sport.
Boy, it's really blown up, hasn't it? Rogers State College had the first college program in this area.
Yep.
And it's a scholarship program now.
It is a scholarship program.
I'm still shaking my head to think. I used to yell at my son, don't waste your time playing these stupid video games. And now they're scholarships. You see them playing in massive arenas.
Absolutely.
ESPN spent millions and millions of dollars to get the rights to esports, Coach. And people sit there and they'll watch these video gamers play, and it takes some great skills.
Well, we're meeting Wednesday. Jen Sanders from our staff is meeting with one of our schools, and we're having Linda Drink, who works in IT, who is also our supervisor of basketball officials, is going to meet with them and explain all the nuances and everything that's involved in eSport. Now, it's an expensive It costs about 30 grand to get involved with
Wow,
that, because
yeah.
you got to have special
Sure,
monitors
yeah.
and all that. But I tell you, if it opens up another opportunity for students to get involved with something as they go through their high school career, then I think that's important.
One thing I want to let your Inside Tulsa sports people know about too, Coach, I'm a real fan of what you've done in terms of creating our Tulsa Public Schools Athletics Hall of Fame, which I thought was just so overdue. And I think back to our discussion about women's athletics and some of the young ladies you put in the Hall of Fame, and you're always careful about trying to get a balance there. I remember like a Kathy Barkley, who had an opportunity to compete with women. She had to compete against men in swimming and diving.
Yeah, you bet. And Kathy West was playing tennis.
That's right.
With them. And we've had such a limited history, and that's why we've really tried. As you know, being on the committee, we've tried to make sure that we include as many of our female student athletes as possible, because it is important for them. It's important for our young female student athletes to understand that. And that's why we're always fortunate every year. We have a couple of corporate partners that buy a table. Yeah. And our Student Athlete Advisory Committee can come and view the testimonies at no cost to them, and then go back and espouse those things to their teammates, because it's so important to hear somebody like a Tony Casillas or a Spencer Tillman.
Oh, yeah.
That has been there and has done all those things in these shoes in Tulsa and then moved on to the next level.
I'm always impressed too how much it means to the inductees. Now, these are most people, as you all know, that we're putting in our Hall of Fame that are in National Hall of Fames, International Hall of Fames, they're Olympic champions, they're world record holders, national champions, and they are absolutely thrilled, though, that they're in their high school Hall of Fame.
The one I'll always remember was Spencer Tillman.
Yeah.
Here he was captain of a Super Bowl team. He played in the National Football League, has his own CBS TV show on the weekend. And I call him up and get him, he's down at home in Sugarland, Texas, and I said, Spencer Gilcloud, I'm pleased to inform you that you have been voted into the TPS Athletics Hall of Fame. And there's dead silence on the phone. I'm thinking, when has this guy ever been silent? Oh,
yeah,
my
goodness. Gosh.
But it does mean a lot,
Yeah.
Chris, and it's important that our young kids see what the older ones that came before them that laid the legacy for the kind of program that we want to have again.
So now we can dispel all these thoughts that all of us used to have that, okay, school's out, teachers are off, coaches are off, athletes are off. Just enjoy the summer for 3 months. We'll see you back in September.
This is the busiest time of the year for us because we're selling advertising and trying to get everything done for our sponsorships for next year. And, Tournament of Champions is big, and all those things that we do. So, we're excited to get busy this summer.
And the golf tournament's coming up.
Golf tournament, June 7th.
Talking about that, yeah.
Then I'll have a new right knee on
That's right.
July the 8th.
We both have new knees, right?
New knees,
That's right.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Well, that wraps up our show today. What a great show we had with a lot of different information for you. Stay tuned with us next week. It'll be our last show of the year where we talk about the state tournaments and everything coming up for the summer. Have a great year. See you later.